Bryson DeChambeau began the final round of the U.S. Open with a 3-stroke lead, and boy, did he take the long way home around Pinehurst No. 2. In and out of trouble all day long, battling up and down with Rory McIlroy. But it was a bunker save from 55 yards on 18 and up and down for the ages that secured DeChambeau's second U.S. Open championship by 1 stroke over Rory McIlroy and 2 over Tony Finau and Patrick Cantlay. Bryson DeChambeau, your 2024 U.S. Open champion. CBS Sports golf writer Kyle Porter is in Pinehurst, North Carolina, lucky enough to be on site for the U.S. Open. He's joining us now. Bryson DeChambeau and Rory McIlroy sort of gave us a finish for the ages. It was fun to watch all day long, and that was just from the seats of our studio, from our couches at home. What was it like being witness to this in person?
It was extraordinary. It was one of the best tournaments I've ever covered, Rich. It was, or excuse me, Russ. I always do that.
No worries.
It was an incredible tournament. I've covered 26 major championships now. This is up there in the top 2 or 3. And I thought the moment that really stood out to me was Rory's on 18 teeing off. Bryson's coming up 17. Bryson hits a great tee shot on the long par 3 17. Kind of walks it off the tee box, kind of chases after it, and he's coming right at Rory. And Rory's obviously 220 yards away, but Rory's watching the whole thing, getting ready to tee off. There's a lot of these corridors around Pinehurst, Russ, that you can kind of see each other. You can definitely hear what's going on. So there was a lot of, not back and forth, but there was a lot of listening, looking, kind of seeing what was happening between those final 2 pairings that were coming up the 18 on Sunday.
Well, look, last time Bryson won a major, it was in 2020 at Winged Foot. You could certainly see what was going on because there weren't fans out there for the most part, but there was no real ambiance. There was no real sound. Boy, Bryson DeChambeau had the crowd fully behind him, chanting USA as he was actually lining up to hit the winning putt of this tournament. And DeChambeau's reaction was so emotional at the end of it. What was it like witnessing what Bryson DeChambeau was pulling off in real time, and also the wave of support he had behind him?
Well, it was stunning, and this is something, Russ, that's been going on kind of throughout the year. The Masters, the PGA Championship, and now the U.S. Open. I was kind of reading some stuff last night. It was less than 3 years ago when PGA Tour crowds were mocking Bryson, calling him Brooksy, yelling at him. Really, there was a lot of derision from kind of golf crowds towards Bryson DeChambeau. And this week, completely embraced him. If he wasn't cheered more than Rory was, it was just as much. Those two were very clearly the crowd favorites. And it was cool because Bryson was really interacting with the fans throughout the week. I mean, I watched him sign a flag for a kid as he's coming off 3rd tee yesterday. He's playing in the final pairing of one of the final pairings of the U.S. Open, and he comes off the 3rd tee and is signing autographs. He signed a hat for somebody inside the ropes. This guy in a wheelchair on Sunday during the final round of the U.S. Open. He was really adamant throughout the week. I'm watching him on TV right now. He's running around the 18th fairway with the U.S. Open trophy just so fans can touch it, and I think that is very emblematic of kind of how Bryson treated this week, treated these fans, and it was pretty amazing to see.
Well, look, I know this tournament's put on by the USGA, but PGA fans can really only see Bryson this year in these major events where he's done so well. He's got one more to go, and then he's going to kind of go off into the LIV world, where I'm sure LIV is hoping that his success and the popularity translates into ratings for them. How much do you think it could be a unifying force to maybe get these two sides together a little faster when you're talking about not only a major champion, the current U.S. Open champion, and also you can make the argument one of the most popular golfers in the world no matter where he plays right now? How much could that actually fast track stuff here?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting point. It sounds to me as if there are some things moving in the right direction for a kind of a reunification to finish out the merger. I don't know what the timeline for that is. I don't know that anybody, even the people that are making the decisions, know what the timeline is. But I think it is a good point of like, listen, not only Bryson he's kind of been the through line for this year in terms of LIV. Brooks wins the PGA Championship last year, but then Bryson contends at the Masters this year. He contends at the PGA Championship this year, and now he wins the U.S. Open. And I think everybody that's watching it would be difficult to watch all these tournaments and say, well, I think we're good without some of these guys, without Brooks, without Bryson. You can't watch these tournaments and say that. And so I do think that there is a level of like, hey guys, this is what's best for golf. Let's make it happen. Let's figure it out and get everybody back together.
Look, for a long time, it really looked like Rory McIlroy had the best chance to win this event. He was the odds-on favorite. He was minus 400 late in this round with just a couple holes to go. Really kind of hard to watch, honestly. Rory missed those putts on 16 and 18. How long do you think a loss like this, look, it's been 10 years. How long does this linger with McIlroy?
I think this one stings more than any other major loss in his career. More than 2011 Masters, more than 2018 Masters, more than the Open Championship in 2022, more than the U.S. Open last year at LACC in 2023 when Wyndham Clark beat him. He had the tournament won, and he bogeys 16, makes kind of a mess of, he had a 2.5 foot putt. Justin Ray had a great set. He was 496 for 496 inside at 3 feet this year, and he misses inside at 3 feet at 16. Misses another fairly short putt on 18. There was some movement to it, but it wasn't a very long putt, Russ. And those are putts that, I mean, it's late. You got to make some putts to win the U.S. Open. He played really, really well today, and he's going to look back on those 2 putts. I think 15 he made a bogey, but it was kind of a bad tee shot. Not you're going to make bogeys at a U.S. Open. You just can't make them the way that he did. Which is from 3 and 4 feet away over the last 3 holes. Yeah,
Rory McIlroy might be the saddest guy in North Carolina, if he still is in North Carolina at this point. But I'll tell you this, Kyle, feels like golf fans were the winners this week at Pinehurst No. 2. What a great U.S. Open we just all got to witness, and you up close. Kyle Porter from CBS Sports. Kyle, thanks so much. And if you want all the latest news coming out of the golf world, check out Kyle. He's a frequent contributor to the First Cut podcast. The First Cut podcast, it takes you inside the ropes to the PGA Tour and beyond. And you can download and subscribe to the First Cut podcast wherever you podcast.